Well, hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. Come on in. Let's talk. My heart has been so heavy today, and I have cried like all day long. And as we go through the show, we'll talk about it. But tonight, I just want to welcome you in. Come on in. We are welcome to Reflections. That's the name of my show, Reflections. Reflection is a part of my Fight to Smile brand. And for those of you who join me regularly, you know that I have my cup and it's Fight to Smile. And it's dedicated to career minded women who are out there hustling, working hard, going to school, raising kids, being a boss, those who have their own business, who you are payroll for so many. So this show is dedicated for you all and just talking about, some of the struggles and the challenges that we go through on a daily basis, and despite the challenges, despite the heartaches and the struggle, you continue to hold your head up, and despite the tears, you continue to smile. You fight to smile. So this show is dedicated for you, to you. It's dedicated to all the men, our allies. We couldn't do it without you. We need you in our lives. We need you to in our lives, in our homes, in our community. We need you. So we appreciate the love and the support that comes from the men who watch regularly. So I hope that, you all can come in. You all had a great Thanksgiving, with whether you were working, whether you were friends, whether you were fortunate to have been with family. Just I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. So, with that, welcome again. Welcome to Reflections. And tonight we're talking about our secrets and how they're killing us. They're killing us, they're killing our community, and we're not moving forward. We can't move forward. So I want to talk about it tonight. So many of us, our secrets are just absolutely killing us. We are ashamed. We are hiding our truths. We are hiding the things that we struggled with. We are suffering in silence. We're suffering, and it's impacting our health. It's impacting our life. It's cutting off years from our life because we are virtually suffering in silence. And even though, you bosses and careers and, you're doing the things, but we're not reaching out and we're not getting the support that we need from one another. And we're not taking care of ourselves to the best of our ability. So I see a couple people here, and I'm so glad that you're here, Regina. And Regina is way over in Hawaii, and she comes in faithfully. So I'm so glad to see you, sweetheart. I see someone named Kyle. Kyle, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for joining. So I want to talk about, some real issues, the things that people are struggling with, and carrying these loads, and I mean loads, suffering with abuse in your home, suffering with domestic violence, suffering with I mean, when I think about, especially with African American women, those who have just struggled and suffered with fibroids and just suffer in silence, not knowing that there's support and there's treatment and there's options that are available. We're just suffering in silence. We are still living under that age old, what happened in this house stays in this house, and we're not getting the help that we need. We're not tapping into the resources that are available. And ultimately, it's killing us. It is killing us. And again, we already struggle with so much stuff in the workplace. But before we can even get to the workplace, we are struggling and have to suit up before we can even get to the workplace to deal with the workplace drama and the workplace issues. Oh my God, it's just so much. It's just so much. Let me take a sip of my juice. Of course, you always know I'm either drinking green tea or cranberry juice or water. So tonight is the cranberry juice. Um, and it's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking when I see so many women that are hurting. I see women who lead their lives with defeat, and when I meet, one of the things that hurts my heart the most is when I meet young women and they introduce themselves by the things they haven't accomplished, or they introduce themselves by first disqualifying themselves. They'll introduce themselves, well, I haven't done this yet, and I haven't done this year, but I'm on my way. You don't, that just breaks my heart. We don't have to, hold your heads up. We don't have to lead with our deficiencies, and so many do. And it's because they're hiding behind the hurts, the pains, the heartaches, the struggles. And we don't have to, and it just makes it that much harder for us to move forward. And, but bottom line, as a community of women, we need to do better. We need to make sure the next generation feels comfortable enough to come talk to us about the real issues that are going on in their lives. And that's real. We need to avail ourselves. Now I'm one of the older women, we need to avail ourselves for young people to come and say that, I've been struggling with this health issue. I don't think something's right. Something doesn't feel right, because we have to have that community of support, because unfortunately, especially as women and minority women, we go to the doctors and they discard us anyway. They don't, not all, but many will just chalk it up. Oh, it's just a pain. It's nothing real. Oh, that's not much. And then find out later it was cancer and they could have caught it a long time ago. So I'm saying that to say that, we have our young ladies need to be able to come to us. Young ladies need to be able to go to other young ladies and just open up and share and talk about what's going on in my life, instead of staying in silence. He beats me, he hits me when he gets upset, you know and we should be able to come to one another. But it's not like that. And why isn't it like that? Someone reach out, talk to me tonight. Let me see if I have any comments out here on Facebook. Who's out here? Hey, Barbara, thank you for joining. Hey, Lee, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Barbara, I missed you guys. We went to North Carolina this year, so I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. But it's just so heartbreaking. It's just so heartbreaking to see people suffering in silence, and then you go to work, and then you get to work, and then you have these bosses who seems like they'll act like they live these pristine lives, and that nothing ever happens in their life, so they can't understand, anything that's going on in your life. So so then they just make it that much harder for you to do your job and for you to open up. Regina says secrets can create shame and causes us to be divided. That is absolutely true, because we have these secrets and we're keeping it to ourselves, and we're not sharing, we're not telling anybody that, and then the little kids pick up on it, and they're not telling anybody that uncle this person and uncle that person is touching me inappropriately, is having, making me have sex, making me do bad things to him. So they're just living in that secrecy, and that secrecy brings forth shame. And then when that shame comes, then they separate. We separate from the crowd because we think something's wrong with us. We think something's wrong with us, that we're the dirty one. We did something wrong, when in fact it wasn't even, our doing. Hey, Butch, thanks for joining tonight. And it wasn't even our doing. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. We spend our time hiding, then we're divided, and then we condemn our own selves. We beat our own selves up. We beat our own selves up. And then as a community, we're just so complicitory. We just, oh, that's just how they are. Oh, that's just how he is. I had a discussion with a few men back several weeks ago about domestic violence. And I was like, do men ever tell men that, yo, man, you shouldn't beat your girl like that? And, so we had this open discussion, and we talked about how a lot of times, men don't want to get involved because, they don't want to, feel like they're stepping into somebody else's business, and they don't want to, they feel like everything's not perfect in their world. So who are they to say something about somebody else? But I was talking to one of my girlfriends, Marissa, and those of you who know me, Marissa and her journey through domestic violence, and how she is a survivor of domestic violence, but she was also charged with aggravated assault, attempted murder. I can't even remember now. But she ended up getting 20 years without the possibility of parole. And it was just it was just the perfect storm of bad legislation and a lot of things. Anyway, she's out, she appealed, they, won and what have you. So she's out, she's living her life. But she and I were talking today. And one thing we were talking about is how, people, we just don't talk as a community. We don't talk as family. We keep these family secrets. And then we are living with these family secrets. Then we got to go to work and act like, and then deal with all that foolishness that we deal with in the workplace. And then we're wondering why our blood pressure is sky high. We wonder why our cholesterol is sky high. I don't care how much you exercise. Some of that stuff is the stressors that are in your life. So you can diet and you can run and you can lift all the weights that you want. But until those stressors in your life are under control, it's still impacting your body. It's a book out there called The Body Keeps Score. The body keeps record of all of that stress and all that drama. And then what happens? We are dying. We are dying too early. But one thing that Marissa and I were talking about was, we're being complicitory, and we're not talking to one another. We're not having those tough conversations. We're not We're just not. Anybody out there, talk to me. Anybody out there, we're not having, like I said, we're not having the conversation. We're not availing ourselves to the point where other women feel safe to come and talk to us. Ooh, that hurts. That hurts. When you find out later that your friend was a victim for years and years and years, and you never knew, then you're like, well, dang, why couldn't she come to me? That's my sister. Why? What is it? What is it? They should we have to do better. We just have to do better. We have to do better. And then we like, oh well, she's not gonna listen to me anyway. So we just sit back and wait. When she reaches her bottom, that's when she will get out of it. Really? But in domestic violence, what's the bottom? What's the bottom? The bottom is life or death. We have to do better. We really do. Again, I was talking to Marissa, and she said the bottom line is either life or death, or it's prison or freedom. And that's scary. And I'd like to add to what she said. And what I'm going to add is one word: repeat. Because then the next generation does it. And it's just sad. It's sad. My heart is heavy tonight. It's heavy. Because we as women, we're carrying so much. We are carrying so much. And that's not to say that our brothers and the men out there aren't dealing with a lot either. I'm not saying that, but this show is not a show for men. This show is for women. It's for us. It's for the women. It's to support and encourage each other, to reach out. And sometimes that support that you need may not be in your inner circle. It might not be in your inner circle, but don't be afraid to step out to get the help that you need. I think it was a couple weeks ago, I was talking about when my mom was first diagnosed with AIDS back in the early 90s. And it was still coming out of that period where it was the gay man's disease. And she was one of the very first heterosexual women diagnosed with AIDS. And they didn't have a lot of treatment. They didn't know how to differentiate the treatment because women have different anatomy and they have different symptoms. And you have to treat different things different ways, So none of that existed at that time. And we were fighting, we were struggling, we were fighting with insurance companies. We were just fighting. Then we were fighting with the stigma. You have AIDS, and it was just so much going on. And I was a young woman. And I remember that once a month, and I think I shared this the last time, once a month, I would go out to the valley and I would go to this women's luncheon once a month on a Saturday. It seemed like it was like the second Saturday of every month. And it was just a luncheon. It was refreshing. The worship was beautiful. The women, they always brought in a woman speaker, and none of the women there looked like me. It was okay. I was so welcomed, and it was just so warm, and it was just what I needed. It was what I needed. So I'm saying that to say, ladies, that sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone so that we can find the help and the support that we need, because we are dying. We are dying. And again, like Marissa said, she said it's about life, death, or prison or freedom. And then I said, and repeat, because we pass that behavior to the next generation. We teach our girls to grin and bear, to buckle down, to keep fighting. Don't say anything. Don't let them see you cry. And I've shared like on episode 1 or episode 2 how I made my daughter when she was a little girl. Her feelings were hurt and she had every right to be hurt. She had every right to be hurt. Her gymnastics coach, not Coach Lisa. I don't want anybody to think it's Coach Lisa. It was not, it was before Coach Lisa. Okay. But her gymnastics coach did her dirty in front of everybody. And it was so wrong. It was so wrong. And my baby was standing there and she was trying to understand what happened. And she just couldn't. And her feelings were hurt, rightfully so. And I went up to her and I said, don't you dare cry. Don't you dare cry in front of these white people. I said it. I said it. I did. Looking back on it, I was dead wrong, and a couple months ago when I remembered all of this, I called her and I was like, baby, I'm sorry. This is like 14 years later. I'm like, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I should have allowed you to feel what you felt. But that's how we teach our girls. We teach them to just take it, to suck it up, to, not tell anybody. And it's always your fault. It's not your fault. It's not always your fault. Yes, sometimes we make some bad choices. Yes, we do. Sometimes we do. I've made them. Sometimes we do make bad choices, but some of this violence, some of this, misuse and abuse that comes is not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And we have to create an environment where our young women feel comfortable to come talk to us. Not just young women, but for our friends. I'm like wanting to call everybody. Girl, you okay? Girl, you okay? I want to call everybody tonight. I want to call everybody. I'm going to be up all night tonight, just calling people. Just checking in. Just checking in. Oh, my goodness. I hope I'm not just, out here just ranting tonight. But I think we just need to do better. We need to do better. We need to learn. Marissa said something so powerful to that today. I was like, girl, I'm taking notes because she was dropping nuggets. But Marissa said, we really need to learn how to treat people as though they were created by an almighty God and not treat them the way they treat themselves because they don't know their value yet. And I'm like, that's a tweetable, okay? That's a tweetable. Tweetable. We need to do better. We really do. We need to do better. So with all that, whew, that's just a lot. I got to digress for a moment. So we need to learn to love ourselves. I was in another conversation the other day. I don't know what day it was just the other day. And it was talking about how I use Black Friday to buy some things for me to treat myself because I've worked hard all year. And I want to do something nice for myself. And, so we just talked about that and the importance of just loving on yourself. Loving yourself, rewarding yourself. Because sometimes when we are like, well, I don't know how to love myself if I'm not, raising my kids, raising my nieces and nephews, helping other people. I don't know how to, love myself. And learning how to love yourself begins with learning how to just be kind to yourself, to treat yourself nicely, to treat yourself to things that you want, that you've worked for and you've saved for. So I want this. So I'm going to buy this for myself. I'm going to take myself on a vacation. Those are the little things that we do to love on ourselves. But I think, again, most importantly, is to reward ourselves for being a survivor, Reward yourself, gift yourself for being a go-getter, for working hard, for overcoming challenges, for getting over sicknesses and illness, for bouncing back after accidents, for bouncing back after a failure. Ooh, I took an L, but guess what? I bounced back. Who was that saying that? Look, Big Sean. Wasn't it Big Sean? Big Sean. Yeah, he said, last night I took a L, but tonight I bounced back. Reward yourself because you bounced back. Reward yourself, ladies. That's what we have to do. We have to learn how to reward ourselves and treat ourselves well, because it's not until we learn how to treat ourselves well that other people will begin to treat us the way we treat ourselves. We talked about before that people, we teach people how to treat us. We do. And we teach them by the way we treat ourselves. We treat ourselves like trash. That's exactly how they're going to treat us. We treat ourselves as though our goals aren't important. Our vision isn't important. That's exactly how they're going to treat our vision and how they're going to treat our goals. That's exactly how. We treat ourselves like I'm not worth, walking around without a black eye. So they don't have a problem with giving you one. Okay. So, we have to learn to love ourselves. And part of loving ourselves is rewarding ourselves. And sometimes rewarding ourselves means we have to step out of our comfort zone and get the help we need. And again, I said it it wasn't last week because we were traveling, but the week before, sometimes that getting help is mental health. Sometimes we need mental health counseling. And that's okay, because all they're doing is teaching you and showing you some new strategies for dealing with life. And there's no harm in that. There is no harm in that. So with that, I thank you for being here. Is anybody? I see several people. Hey, Sharon. I haven't seen you in a long time, girl. How was Thanksgiving? But it's so good to see you all here. Thank you for joining me tonight. I do want to, at this point, give a shout out to a young man who's no longer with us. He died. He was killed last night by his father. And, my heart goes out to the rest of the family, to the loved ones. And it's just a tragedy. It's just a tragedy. So tonight I'm going to end the show by showing a few pictures of a very handsome, kind, loving young man, and who will be sorely missed by the University Christian School family, by the University of Central Florida family, and his new family was the LA Rams. So he's a Kappa, so I'm sure the brothers will be missing him, not to mention his love, the love of his life, and just all the family members that are impacted. So with that, everyone, I say good night and rest in peace, young King Otis Anderson Jr. You will be missed.